In 2024, APRAS counted $103 billion in fraudulent and abusive returns. That figure runs through every customer service desk in America. Every hour the store is open. The cashier saying no isn't being difficult. She's following a script written by people who never face you across the counter. Around number 19, a screen tells her you're flagged and her hands are tied. 25 refund reasons cashiers decline politely. 1. A blue cocktail dress lands on the Macy's returns counter, ticket attached, 4 days after the gala. The deodorant ring on the underarm is still damp, a smear of lipstick lines the collar, and the perfume cloud arrives before the customer does. The cashier, a college sophomore named Brianna, sees the seam where a steamer flattened the back and the receipt that still calls the dress new. She rotates the garment slowly, looks at the tag, looks at the customer's face, and finds the polite formula she was trained on. Today, the trade calls this wardrobing. Buy for the event, post the photo, return after. 60% of retailers reported it in 2024, and the receipt does not save you. Brianna explains the policy and hands the dress back. 4 days, 1 gala, no refund. 2. On January 4th, a woman walks into a Lowe's in Tulsa with a bagged Fraser fur, the needles brown enough to crunch underfoot. She has the receipt, she has the dollar amount, and she has the 90-day return policy printed on the bottom of the slip. The cashier, a 44-year-old assistant manager named Doug, reviews the seasonal addendum on the company portal and reads the relevant clause aloud in an audit-ready voice. The clause specifies that holiday merchandise must be returned on or before the day of the holiday. Today, the calendar reads January 4th, which is, with respect, 10 days after Christmas. The 90-day rule on the receipt is correct. The seasonal carve-out on page 2 is also correct, and the carve-out wins. Doug thanks her for the receipt, points her toward the curbside chipper service, and closes the ticket. Holiday window closed, per company policy. 3. A man brings a 1.06-carat diamond ring back to a Costco in Phoenix on the 3rd day after he bought it. The proposal didn't go the way he planned. The receipt is in his pocket. The original GIA certificate is at home, in a drawer he cannot quite picture. The cashier, a longtime member services lead named Marisol, pulls up the diamond rule on her terminal in under 5 seconds. Diamonds of 1 carat or larger return inside 48 hours. Original paperwork required, no exception. Today is the 3rd day. The certificate is across town, and the window has closed at hour 49. Marisol does not negotiate, does not call a manager, and does not soften her voice. She slides the ring back across the counter and explains the policy in 2 sentences. The proposal is over, and so is the window. 4. In 2024, a Reddit user posted a photo of an MSI RTX 5090 return box he had just received from Amazon resale. Inside, weighted gravel sat where the $3,000 GPU should have been. The packaging had been resealed by someone with practice. The package weight matched the GPU spec sheet within an ounce. Amazon's automated return system logged the package as accepted, and the customer who rocked the box had already received the refund. This is not a one-off. It is a category. The trade calls it the box of rocks scam, the empty box claim, the brick in a box. The cashier on the receiving end is not authorized to figure out who scammed who. She just notes the weight, declines the next refund on the chain, and adds a line to the loss prevention report. $3,000, 1 box, 4 layers of polite no. 5. The smell hits first. Solder, plastic, and the inside of a hot car. A black PlayStation 5 lands on the counter, seal broken, a 17-year-old claiming the unit is defective out of the box. Carlos, the returns specialist at this Best Buy in Austin, has seen this exact move before. He opens the carton. The optical drive is gone. The SSD bay is empty, and the warranty sticker that used to cover the screw is gone with it. Today, the trade calls this bricking. Strip the parts, sell them on eBay, return the shell as defective. 48% of retailers reported it as a category in 2024. Carlos boxes the unit back up, declines the refund without raising his voice, and emails the loss prevention manager. A console with no console inside. 6. A package of women's underwear arrives at a Target customer service desk in Sacramento, the hygiene strip peeled cleanly off the cardboard. The receipt is fresh and the packaging is otherwise intact. The cashier, a swing shift lead named Renee, examines the strip, the residue line, and the cardboard underneath in that order. The relevant policy is laminated above her terminal. Hygiene-sealed garments are non-returnable once the seal is broken. The reasoning is documented in plain language. Items that cannot be resold for health reasons are exempt from the standard 90-day window. Renee explains the rule in 21 words and offers no exception because the exception does not exist. The package returns to the customer's hands. Per public health code, no refund issued. Step back. The first 6 are about what arrived at the counter. The dress, the tree, the ring, the box, the hollowed shell, the broken seal. The next batch is about the paperwork, the calendar, and the line where the customer is standing. 7. A man unloads a brown leather jacket onto the counter at a Nordstrom rack in Chicago, a 30-day window still open by the date on the receipt. The price tag dangles from the sleeve in 2 pieces, a torn paper edge where it was reattached with clear tape. Underneath, a second tag reads "Final Sale" in red, the jacket's clearance origin marked plainly. The cashier, Priya, a 4-year veteran of this store, does not rush. She separates the 2 tags with a fingernail and turns the second one toward the customer so he can read it himself. Today, the chain treats final sale clearance as exempt from the standard return policy. The man already knew, and the tape was meant to fix that. Still, the tag underneath said otherwise. 8. A pair of shoes comes back to the counter at a DSW in Dallas with the price tag still on the box, the receipt 3 days old, the customer's tone politely confident. The cashier, a part-time employee named Maya, turns the right shoe over. The sole is scuffed gray along the heel. A piece of yellow asphalt is wedged into the tread. A fresh chip in the sidewall sits where someone caught a curb. The carpet test the company trains its associates on is simple. Shoes worn outside, even once, are no longer resaleable. Today, the right shoe in her hand is unambiguous, and the policy in her terminal is unambiguous. Maya explains the rule, gives the customer the box back, and steps to the next person in line. The shoe carries the street home. 9. The phone, an unlocked Android, opened, SIM tray empty, receipt 15 days old, slides across the counter at a Walmart in Toledo. The cashier, a 26-year-old supervisor named Devin, knows the policy verbatim because it gets recited to her 3 times a shift. The 14-day phone window, the 30-day electronics window, the 90-day everything else window. The customer is 1 day past the strictest of the 3. Today, that 1 day is the difference between exchange and full stop. Walmart's policy gives you 14 days for a phone, 90 days for a sweater, and 0 days of grace. Devin points at the laminated card that says cell phones, 14 days, and waits for the conversation to end. Who decided 14 days was the right number? 10. A coffee mug, hand-warming, lands on the counter at a Pottery Barn in Atlanta. The receipt 11 days old. The customer mildly frustrated. Etched into the side of the mug in a clean serif font is the name Tanner. The cashier, Hannah, sets the mug down so the morning light catches the engraving from his angle. Personalized merchandise is treated as final at the point of sale across this chain because no second customer named Tanner has been spotted in this zip code with a matching budget. The receipt does not override the engraving. The engraving does not come off. The next best fit in retail terms is no fit at all. The mug stays in his hand. He paid for permanence. The system delivered exactly that. 11. A plastic tub of chocolate chip cookies returns to a Costco in Reno. The lid still on, 3 cookies left in the bottom of the bin. The receipt is dated 19 days earlier. The customer disliked the texture at cookie 1 and has worked her way down to disliking it at cookie 45. The cashier, a senior member services agent named Frank, weighs the situation against the company's published satisfaction language. Costco's general satisfaction guarantee asks for at least half of a perishable item to remain at the time of return. Today, 3 cookies out of 48 does not constitute half. Frank smiles, returns the tub, and writes the case on a post-it for the shift log. Per the half-the-item rule, no refund issued. 12. A receipt lands on the counter at a Home Depot in Sacramento, the total in faded thermal ink reading $498. The same total in the system reads $312. The cashier, Aaron, a 6-year veteran of the returns desk, runs the receipt under the security pen the company issues to staff. The pen reads the security ink. The ink reads as a forgery, a copy of a real receipt, edited and reprinted on the wrong paper. Today, 40% of retailers reported counterfeit receipts in 2024, and the company's policy is published on every wall behind every register. Aaron hands the receipt back without comment, and the system flags the visit for the loss prevention queue. The thermal ink told on him. 13. A sealed Bluetooth speaker arrives at a Best Buy in Charlotte, the price tag visible on the box, the receipt 7 days old, the customer apologetic and prepared. The cashier, an associate named Jordan, scans the SKU. The system finds the SKU and the store of purchase. Today, the system did not find the store this customer is standing in. The receipt is from a Target 3 blocks down, a different chain, a different SKU set, a different return policy entirely. The customer, asked to clarify, points at the box and says it's the same model. It is and it isn't, and the SKU only matches the system in the Target 3 blocks down, not Jordan's. The trade calls this cross-retailer return, and it is a documented category. Still, the receipt was real. The pattern is becoming visible. 6 was about behavior at the counter. 13 is about the receipt's home address, and the gap between the two is closing fast. The screen at the register is keeping a longer memory than the customer does. 14. What does it look like when a Sephora Rouge member gets banned from returning makeup at the register? It looks like a screen turning red, a manager arriving with a printed sheet, and a polite redirection. The customer at the counter is a beauty insider since 2017, $3,000 in annual spend. Her return activity has just triggered the monitoring threshold. The cashier did not push the button. The cashier read a number. Sephora's public policy explicitly preserves the right to limit returns, and the discretion is now an algorithm. The system is not interested in reasonable definitions of fraudster. The math caught up to her 3 returns ago. 15. On a Tuesday morning at a Bass Pro Shops in Springfield, Missouri, a customer walks up to the returns desk with a green box of 9mm ammunition, the receipt fresh and the seal unbroken. The cashier, a 33-year-old part-timer named Jacob, glances at the box and at the laminated, non-returnable category list above his terminal. Ammunition appears second on the list, after firearms, ahead of fishing licenses. Today, the chain, and the federal common-sense rule behind it, does not accept returns of ammunition once it leaves the store, sealed or otherwise. The reasoning is documented, brief, and not up for debate. Jacob hands the box back, points at the list, and apologizes politely. The customer leaves the way customers usually leave that desk, holding the box he came in with, a sealed product, a fresh receipt, a closed door. 16. A box of contact lenses arrives at a Walmart optical counter in Tucson, the foil seal of one packet visibly broken, the customer claiming the prescription was wrong. The cashier, Jen, a 6-year associate, pulls up the relevant policy, which is medical, federal, and not flexible. The Walmart 60-day prescription contact return policy requires the product to be unopened, factory sealed, and accompanied by the original receipt. Today, one of those three conditions has already been violated by the foil, and the foil is the most important of the three. Jen explains, in the procedural register the company prefers that opened prescription lenses cannot be reshelved, redistributed, or resold by law. She offers a referral to the prescribing optometrist for an adjustment. She does not offer a refund. Per medical product code, item ineligible for return. 17. A potted ficus arrives at a Lowe's garden center in Greensboro, North Carolina. Brown from root to leaf. The receipt 8 months old. The customer presents the company's 1-year tree, shrub, and perennial guarantee with confidence. The cashier, Ruth, a 48-year-old returns lead with a green thumb of her own, examines the plant. The trunk is dry, the soil is dust, the pot is dust. Today, the policy does cover tree, shrub, and perennial replacement within 1 year for plants that have been watered. Ruth lifts the pot, looks the customer in the eye, and explains the part of the policy printed on the back of the receipt. The guarantee covers loss, not negligence, only the part where the plant was alive last week. 18. A $2,000 drone, opened, arrives at a Best Buy Magnolia counter in Seattle. The props loose in the case, the receipt 18 days old. The cashier, Marcus, a Geek Squad veteran, opens the box and counts the foam cuts, the loose screws, and the pollen on the camera gimbal. The drone has flown. The receipt does not say it has not. The Best Buy 15% restocking fee on opened drones, cameras, and projectors is published on the company's website and printed on the back of every receipt. The math is straightforward. 2,000 minus 300 equals 1,700 on a card that paid $2,000 18 days ago. The customer protests. Marcus does not. $300 is the price of 1 weekend's filming. 19. A pair of jeans arrives at a JCPenney counter in Memphis. The tag still on. The receipt 21 days old. The customer confident in his own history. The cashier, Diane, scans the receipt, scans the customer's driver's license per chain policy, and waits for the system. The retail equation database returns a screen the customer has never seen, but Diane has seen it before. The screen prints a slip that says "Return declined" in capital letters. The customer asks why. Diane reads the receipt printed line aloud. Per the company's published return monitoring policy, the customer's return activity meets the threshold for limit. The decline does not say fraud. And the decline does not need to. Diane is the messenger, not the writer. The algorithm wrote the answer before either of them said hello. There is a number on the cashier screen you cannot see, and it does more work than the receipt in your hand. The retail equation runs that number for retailers who pay for the service. The cashier does not write the policy, and she does not get to override it. She stands at the counter in a polo shirt that costs less than what you brought back. The last 6 are ones the system flags before she looks up. 6 refunds the algorithm has already declined for her. 20. At a Target in Phoenix, a customer brings a $38 designer coffee maker to the counter. The front sticker swapped for an $8 generic. Yolanda, the cashier, scans the barcode. The system returns the actual list price, and the gap is $30 plus tax. Today, this practice has a documented name in retail loss prevention vocabulary: price arbitrage. It is a sticker swap exploiting the gap between the eye and the database, and the price tag on the front, in some cases, was put there by the person now standing in line. Yolanda voids the transaction and asks the customer to step aside. The customer leaves the coffee maker on the counter. Who exactly was the sticker fooling? 21. A queen-size mattress, 8 months old, arrives back at a Costco in Salt Lake City under the company's risk-free 100% satisfaction guarantee. The mattress is, in the language of the carve-out, torn or worn out from years of use. The yellow stain is dry, the side seam is split, and the box spring shows where the dog has slept for 8 months. The cashier, a member services lead named Beatrice, wheels the mattress to the receiving area for inspection. The inspection takes 7 minutes. Costco's published satisfaction guarantee specifically excludes items torn or worn out from years of use. Today, the mattress meets that definition, regardless of the 8-month timeline. Beatrice cancels the return ticket and prints the carve-out clause on a refund decline slip. Per the worn-out clause, no refund authorized. 22. On December 26th, a customer carries a discounted ceramic snowman back to a Lowe's in Birmingham. The price tag still glowing 70% off red, the receipt fresh from the night before. The cashier, Tasha, has been on shift for 4 hours and seen this exact item come back in 2 earlier visits. The chain's holiday return policy specifies that holiday merchandise must be returned on or before the day of the holiday in question. December 26th is, by calendar definition, after Christmas. The 70% off discount is a clearance discount. A clearance discount the policy explicitly classifies as final sale. The customer's confusion is genuine. His receipt looks normal, and his timing is, in policy terms, exactly wrong. Tasha hands the snowman back across the counter, gently. Only the date in the corner of the receipt told on him. 23. A torn cellophane wrapper hanging off the corner of an Xbox game case like a shed snakeskin lands on the counter at a Best Buy in Indianapolis. The receipt is 6 days old, and the customer is firm. Brian, an associate at the returns desk, scans the SKU and reads the policy on opened physical media. The chain's rule on opened games, software, music, and books is exchange for an identical title only. Today, that policy is published on the back of every receipt and laminated above every register in every Best Buy in the country. The customer wants a refund, not the same game he already finished. Brian explains the policy and offers the exchange. The customer declines and walks. 6 days, 1 ending watched, no second chance. 24. The item, an opened cordless drill in its original case, no receipt, no card on file, arrives at a Home Depot in Detroit. The cashier, an associate named Brittany, asks for a driver's license per chain policy. The license goes into the system, and the system returns a refusal, not because of the customer, but because of the missing proof. Today, Home Depot's policy permits no receipt returns under specific conditions, and a $400 power tool with no card of purchase trace meets none of them. The customer can leave with the drill, come back with the receipt, or never come back at all. The cashier does not write the rule, and she does not get to bend it. The driver's license alone is not a paper trail. $400 without a paper trail goes home with the customer. 25. A pair of headphones returns to a Target counter in Atlanta. The receipt 8 days old, the customer's card, the same one used at purchase. The cashier, Liana, scans the receipt, scans the card, and waits. The system pings red. The customer's bank has already filed a chargeback for the same transaction 11 hours earlier while he was on the way to the store. The money is already moving back to the customer's account through the credit card network. Issuing a second refund would refund the same purchase twice. Liana cancels the transaction and explains the dispute on file in 2 sentences. The bank already gave the customer the answer he came to ask for. Twice the money cannot move the same way once. Brianna, the college sophomore at the start of this list, is 21 years old and works the customer service desk at the Macy's outside Cleveland, Ohio. She has stood at that counter for 14 months. She has heard, "Get me your manager," more times than she can count. She has watched the manager say the same words she just said and walk away. The customer always thinks the cashier is the wall. The cashier knows she is the doorbell. Behind the doorbell sits a policy binder, a fraud database, a chargeback queue, and a $103 billion number from a Deloitte conference room. The store is not being cruel. The store is being audited. Every refund a cashier hands you is also a refund a fraud team will review on the back end. Every refund she declines is also a refund she will explain to her shift manager 20 minutes later. So when Brianna says no with a smile, she is not being passive-aggressive. She is being trained. She is doing the only part of the job that pays the same whether you leave happy or angry. If this helped you spot which of the 25 you are walking up with, subscribe. The channel keeps working through the rest of the retail floor. The cashier said no. The system said it first.